While coming home, Joo-yoon's car punctured a tire and she called a tow truck while waiting for help. She called her fiancé Kim-soo, who works as an agent in a particular intelligence unit. He's apprehensive about his girlfriend and remains on the line, but soon interrupts the conversation due to problems at work. Meanwhile, a passing car stops nearby, and the driver of which draws attention to a young girl. The stranger decided to help and offered to fix her flat tire, but she declined his help and told him that she had already called a tow truck and politely asked to be left alone. The driver left for the school bus, but he was in no hurry to leave, which caused the Joo-yoon to worry. Turning on her headlights, she notices that man is standing on the side of her car with a hammer. The man breaks the windshield, then knocks out the side window and gets inside the car. Joo-yoon tries to fight back, but she is much weaker than him as a result, which man hits her on the head and deprives her of consciousness. Once free, Kim-soo calls his fiancé, but she doesn't answer as Jang was dragging her body onto his bus. Sometimes later, Joo-yoon wakes up in the kidnapper's house. She is badly injured and unable to call for help. She begs him to spare her life and says she is pregnant, but the killer doesn't care and starts to choose a knife to kill her. Then he brutally murders her and cuts her body into small pieces. In doing so, he is unaware of her ring dropping and getting stuck in the drain. Later, Jang scatters the body parts of Joo-yoon into a local stream. The following day, some boys living under a bridge find a black plastic bag with the Joo-yoon's body parts in it. After this, police and volunteers start looking for the girl's remaining body parts. Mr. Chang also arrives here. The girl's father, who is also a detective, cannot believe that his daughter is the victim and is afraid to admit such a thought. Soon, one of the officers finds Joo-yoon's head, and Mr. Chang is horrified to realize that it is her. Kim-soo arrives on the scene and notices his fiancée head falling out of the box, realizing that she is no more alive. In the morning, Mr. Chang and Kim-soo meet to pay tribute to Joo-yoon. The father blames himself for what happened because he worked in law enforcement for more than 30 years, but he was unable to protect his daughter. Kim, devastated by his loss, becomes determined to track down the killer and make him suffer for his heinous crime. After the funeral, Kim goes to his office, takes 2-week leaves, and starts a private investigation, and later he meets with his colleague in the parking lot, who gives him a device which transmits both location and the sound of the person being tracked. After discussing a list of potential criminals with his late fiancé father, Kim-soo decides to check each of them to find the culprit. At night, he finds the house of the first criminal, and Kim enters his apartment through the window, and Kim sees him watching an adult film on his computer. After seeing this, Kim gets angrier and starts beating the man, interrogates him, and inflicts severe injuries by breaking his scrotum with a wrench. The following day, the victim of the interrogation ends up in the hospital and confesses to several crimes, but he is not related to Joo-yoon's murder. Hours later, Kim tracks down the second person on his list and hits a man on a scooter. After series of precise blows makes the criminal confess everything he has done lately. Now there are only 2 names left on the list of suspects, but Kim was unable to sleep because he cannot calm down until a criminal gets what he deserves. Next day, Kim finds the parents of the third criminal, and Kim pretends to be an insurance agent to look at a photo of a man and make sure that it's him. Parents do not know where their son is as he left their grandson with them to be raised and ran away. Unlike the older people, saying Min-soo knows where his father is living and informs Kim-soo about his father's hideout. After examining Jang's house, Kim opens the locked boxes. When he finds the handbags, shoes, and other items of the victims, realizing that Jang is the real criminal. Suddenly, a door opens behind Kim, leading to the place where Jang was massacring his victims. Here, he finds his fiancée engagement ring and realizes that he has found the murderer. At the same time, Zhang picks up the high school girls from school to take them home after the field trip. The police suspect him of crimes and have already installed a tracking device on the bus to track the location of the Zhang. In the evening, Captain O is informed that one of the schoolgirls has not returned home. Meanwhile, Zhang keeps her in a greenhouse and prepares her for more bullying. At the last moment, he hears that someone is calling him, and so Zhang grabs the sickle and returns to the central part of the greenhouse. Here, Zhang and Kim-soo meet for the first time. They both get into the fight, and Agent turns out to be stronger and defeats Zhang in the fight. Kim-soo strangles him and makes him unconscious and wants to finish him off with a stone, but he realizes that this will be too simple for a punishment. So Kim decides to torture the criminal and makes him pay for his crimes. Kim forces Zhang to swallow the capsule and allows the schoolgirl to escape from the scene, after which he breaks Zhang's arm. Later, Zhang wakes up, finds an envelope with money, and does not understand what happened. After that, Zhang gets rid of the bus, unaware that the tracking device is inside his stomach. Later, Zhang takes a taxi to get to the nearest hospital, where he gets helped, after which Zhang meets a charming nurse. He makes her a couple of immodest compliments, after which he realizes that the girl is a virgin. A little later, the nurse goes to one of the rooms and meets Zhang. He has returned to take advantage of her and forces the girl to undress. The nurse obediently fulfills the demands of the criminal and kneels before him. Kim-soo heard all this and rushed to help the unfortunate girl and attack the Zhang. The agent again prevailed and warned the criminal that the game had just begun and that he would make him suffer for his crimes. To prove his words, Kim-soo cuts Zhang's tendon and asks the nurse to help the wounded criminal. Sometime later, Zhang checks the taxi for a tracking device. Then Zhang decides to get rid of the car and stops passing vehicles. Later, Zhang comes to the house of an old friend Tae-ju, who is also a serial killer. Continuing to hunt down the criminal, the Kim approaches the Tae-ju's home and quietly enters the site. During dinner, Zhang tells his friend that an unknown person is after him and hunts him down every time. Tae-ju makes fun of Zhang and realizing that he's fallen into the hands of the actual devil. He guesses that he might be the friend or lover of one of Zhang's victims. As soon as Tae-ju leaves, Zhang, offended by the ridicule of his friend, takes his girlfriend Se-yeon. At first, the girl tries to resist, but later enjoys it and asks him not to stop. A little later, Tae-ju decides to have fun with another victim. He is preparing to take her life when suddenly the music is turned off. Tae-ju goes to turn on the music and comes face to face with Kim-soo, who rushes to help the girl. During the fight, Kim turns out to be more robust. He breaks the man's arm and throws a chain around his neck. Unlike Zhang, Tae-ju deserves a quick punishment and Kim-soo is ready to take his life. At the same time, Zhang hears some sounds and realizes that someone else is also there. He grabs a gun and hurries to the kitchen of his friend, seeing that Tae-ju is being held captive by a Kim. Zhang shoots the Kim and forces him to flee. The intelligence agent is not used to giving up and hides on the second floor of the house while the Jew tries to free himself. Kim-soo searches the owner's bedroom and finds a broken fishing spear. Kim hides around the corner and starts waiting for the criminals when suddenly, Se-yeon attacks him from behind. After dealing with the criminal's mistress, Kim also knocks out the Tae-ju. The Zhang is also looking for him, so Kim scatters fishhooks on the floor and lures him. As soon as Zhang hurts his leg, Kim attacks and severely beats him, after which he hides Zhang in his car. In the morning, police and an ambulance arrive on the scene and takes the wounded Tae-ju to the hospital. Captain Oh realizes that Kim is behind this and asks Mr. Chan to influence his son-in-law to stop and not go to jail for his crimes. Meanwhile, Kim meets with his colleague and hides Zhang behind the curtain. Here, Kim treats his wounds, and during this, his colleague discusses about the transmitter. The Zhang although he's sleeping, hears everything and knows about the transmitter inside his body, knows how to get rid of it so that intelligence agents cannot track him. Sometime later, Zhang wakes up in a tunnel and realizes that Kim let him go again. The criminal knows that Kim can hear him, so Zhang provokes Kim by telling him about his victims. Zhang tells Kim that he killed Ju Young because he loves to kill innocent girls. Zhang also tells Kim that his fiancée was also pregnant, so that night Kim not only lost his wife, but also lost his child. Maddened by what he heard, Kim hurries to the location of the pharmacy where Zhang is. After reaching the pharmacy, Kim finds a wounded pharmacist on the floor. After providing first aid to him, he continues his hunt for Zhang. Meanwhile, Zhang goes to the washroom and gets rid of the transmitter. On his way, Zhang encounters a police officer. He beats him up and forces him to swallow the capsule and steals his patrol car. Later, Zhang calls Captain O and says he will turn himself in as soon as he finishes his last job. Kim-soo visits the Taeju in the hospital and learns that the now Zhang will come for the family of the Ju Young. The injured Taeju taunts the intelligence agent, but soon regrets it as Kim rips off his mouth. Kim rushes to his fiancé father's house, but it's too late as Zhang reaches the place before him. Zhang badly injured the old man and kidnapped the cousin of Ju Yoon's. A couple of hours later, the girl's body is found in the alley. Kim regrets that he did not deal with the Zhang on time. After finishing his last job, Zhang decides to turn himself in. Before the police can arrest him, Kim kidnaps Zhang right in front of the police station. Later, returning to Zhang's hideout, Kim tortures him in every possible way, causing pain and terrible suffering. A little later, Zhang begs for mercy, but the devil of revenge is unstoppable. Kim places the guillotine over Zhang's head. He leaves the other end of the cable in his mouth, tying it to the door in parallel. As soon as Kim-soo leaves, Zhang's family arrives at the hideout. Worried parents and son open the door, setting the guillotine into action, and finds the head of Zhang upon opening the door. And now finally, the revenge is complete. But this does not make it any easier for Kim-soo, because this will not return his beloved ones.